we go. Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame and upon my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean off my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable.
That video literally gets me so hyped. I'm so looking forward to 2020 long drive season. Let's talk about how I'm going to get ready. Let's talk about how I'm going to make it happen. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, big shout out to Fred Barrel who basically made that intro. It's epic. I need your editing skills. As well as European long drive games, and essentially that is what I'm going to be competing in next year. I'll get a lot of questions and hopefully I'm going to answer a lot of them in this video on how do you enter long drive, how do you get into it, how do you get the equipment, how do you make money, how do you do this. So the idea in this video basically is to answer those questions as well as outline my plan of basically the main goal is to win an event next year. Okay, so let's get into the beginning. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe, leave this video a like. My name's Simon, I'm a PJ professional. I've moved down to Burford Golf Club. This is our new indoor facility. And at Christmas, after I got an injury, I basically decided that I wanted to compete in long drive and I was gonna vlog it, my progress from going from a pro swing, which was 120 clubhead speed, which is relatively high for just a normal plain swing, and ball speed around the 165 to 170 mark. How do I go from that to compete in long drive? Now, I love fitness, I love the gym, and because obviously the irony of being a golf pro, I don't really get that much time to practice. However, with long drive, you've got to basically go flat out for 30 minutes and then that's it. So it kind of fitted into my regime of how much I can practice into a sport, into a game, and still stay competitive. So as I said, in November I had a standard length driver and I went down the range and I started hitting golf balls as hard as I can, and I look back at it and it was probably a bit of a waste of time because I didn't really know what I was trying to practice or what I was trying to achieve. However, come January, I got a new full-length 48-inch driver from Root Golf, which I found on eBay, and people ask me where do I find long drive drivers. Now you can get it. Unfortunately, they are relatively expensive, and sometimes, well, again, now I don't know what I should have. It's difficult to get fitted for one, but what I went for was a 4-degree head, XXX stiff shaft, 48 inches, and to be perfectly honest, it's probably horrendous for me, but it's a start. And if you want to get into long drive, first thing you got to do is get a long drive driver. Like 48 inches is completely different. It was so difficult to hit. It took me a month to basically get it airborne, and essentially that is the best way to start practicing for this sport, because you're gonna need a low lofted, long shafted driver to even begin. So then once you've got that, obviously my goals was to get 135 plus clubhead speed, 200 miles an hour ball speed. When I was starting, it didn't seem that achievable. It's very slow progress, and just through pure willpower, technique, a lesson with Lee Cox, eating, gym, nutrition, I'm starting to get there. I'm definitely not there, and to be perfectly honest, there's no way at this stage that I'd be able to compete with the best. However, in another 6 months, well, especially 2020, I feel like I'm going to be around about the mark. So let's talk about the goals. My goals currently at the moment is 140 plus clubhead speed, which is going to be for January, 200 miles an hour plus on average, so not necessarily my PB. My PB is going to be slightly higher, but averaging high 190s, low 200s ball speed, as well as getting right numbers in terms of loft, spin, launch angle. They're the keys for hitting a long drive. It's all well and good hitting the ball hard, but if you've got too much spin or you're hitting it too low, unfortunately you're not going to hit a long drive. So you might be saying, Simon, that's all well and good, but how are you going to do it? I've had a lesson with Lee Cox, who's Joe Miller's coach, which was eye-opening and gave me a lot of stuff to work on, which I'm still working on at the moment, and there's still so many flaws in my swing that I still see now that I still need to work on. So lessons is obviously key. Practice is obviously key. Doing this 4 to 5 times a week. I use super speed sticks. They're not necessarily essential, but weighted clubs I have found, golf specific equipment I have found easier, especially when you haven't got a target, i.e. a ball to hit. I found with long drive, swinging through the ball rather than trying to hit it and hit it towards an object, you're gaining more club head speed. So weighted training aids have definitely helped, as well as gym, deadlifts, squats, bench, pull-ups, whatever it is, the power moves. Every explosive athlete I've ever seen has very good power lifts, i.e. the squats, the deadlifts, good core muscles, and there's a vast array of people that say this is good for golf, that's good for speed. I don't think anyone realistically knows. All I know is that as long as I've got a good range of movement and I'm as strong as I can be for like my weight, height and size, that's only going to help in producing not only a faster club head speed, but also being able to be stable and do it consistently over and over again. So that is the goal side of it. 140 club head, 200 mile an hour plus ball speed to obviously hit 400-yard drives. Now obviously pre-season stuff, and I'll talk about the tournament structure. Pre-season's indoor on the monitors like this. Main season's out on the grid, out in the elements. So into wind you're looking at 350 winning, downwind 430. And if you want to look at the events, I highly recommend going following European Long Drive Games as well as German Long Drive on Instagram. They basically have all the events covered on there, round by round knockouts. It's actually really interesting, well for me anyway. That's the easiest way to obviously keep up to date. Not only follow my channel next year, but also following my progress is going to be on there as they obviously do live updates. But getting into events, I'm going to be looking to compete in 8 to 10 events next year. German Long Drive is a separate tournament scheme, as well as European Long Drive Games and anything in the UK as well. And obviously the traveling side of it, the hotels, the entry fees, is going to rack up, and luckily I feel like I've got 2 sponsors already for next year, which are going to help support me to cover those costs, because it is an expensive sport. There is prize funds and a lot of the money is very top end heavy, so obviously you're going to win up to like 2,000 to 3,000 depending on the entries for an event. However, if you come second, third, fourth, you're not going to win that much money. So obviously the sponsors are going to help me in terms of getting to the events, competing, not necessarily worrying about the money element as much, and probably go give me my best opportunity to obviously perform. As I said, I feel like I've got my sponsors covered for next year, but if you feel like you might be interested in sponsoring me in the future, then I'll leave my email address down below, or if you want to contact me on Instagram for any future stuff like that, then obviously do that, no problem at all. So that is going to be the main focus of the channel next year, basically competing in Europe, getting faster, getting bigger, getting stronger. Again, there's a lot of guys in the UK that message me. I feel like I do want to start like in a casual event every month, wherever it might be, a local range that will have us, that don't mind the ball flying out the back, or if there's a range that's long enough, for example. Because I'd like to get in a competitive environment before obviously next season. I feel like that might be a good way of doing it. So if you are interested, then leave me a message on Instagram. I think that's probably the easiest way. Maybe we set up a group WhatsApp, 20-30 guys, minimum like club head, no, like minimum drive. You have to hit it at least 300 yards, let's say that. And if you're interested in coming up, competing, getting better, that might be an easy way to do it, getting like a casual but a pressured environment where you got to compete against other people. So in terms of that, that's basically covering everything. I just wanted to do like a overall recap of where I have been, where I'm going to be, the idea behind it, and it's a slow progress. It's difficult to vlog this day by day because some days you swing good, some days you don't swing good, but that is the goal, and I feel like the long drive content is going to be definitely a lot more up there next year, just because I'm going to be meeting new people, being out on the road, different countries, and then hopefully taking my first win as well. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave it a like. As always, please subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys later.